So today I'm going to teach you how to use a miter saw. Now this tool is one of my favorites, and I promise it's going to open up your entire world if you learn how to use it. And I'm going to show you. So a miter saw, what that basically just means is it's a saw blade that is mounted that can do regular cuts, but it can also cut at an angle. That's what miter means. Now this one is cool because it's also a compound miter saw, and so it can tilt and cut at a bevel. Okay, so why use a miter saw when you can use a handheld circular saw? Honestly, the fact that this is mounted makes it so much easier, so much more consistent, and I feel like it's safer as well. You can make cross cuts so easily, and then when you cut at an angle, it just makes it so consistent. Okay, so when do you use a miter saw? Honestly, for everything. I use it for trim work, I use it for crown molding, wall treatments. Anytime I want to cut a board, which honestly happens every single day, this is your guy. Or your girl. I think it's your girl. Right. Okay, so let me give you a tour around this miter saw so that you know what's going on here. First, we've got the trigger right here. This is what turns on the blade. We also have a blade safety cover. We have this arm, and this is how we adjust our angle, our miter. Okay, we've got all the angles written out on the side, and then there's different levers which can lock it into place and help it be able to rotate to the left and to the right, and then lock it into place. Okay, and this is the lock for the compound part, which allows for me to tilt this saw and cut it at a bevel. So the knob on the side here, when you unscrew it, that allows for this to be able to slide forward and back, and you can screw it and lock it back into place again. So this back here is called a fence. And what it does is it basically acts as a guide for your material. It stands up just like a fence, hence the name, and you push your material up against it, and then that way your cuts are consistent and your material has something to push up against. This is a clamp that's mounted on the miter saw, and this pretty much acts as an extra hand. Thank you, clamp. You can just screw it down and make it so that your board fits nice and snug. And then when your saw is not in use, there's a little pin on the side, and when you push it in, it closes it up, it locks it up, and keeps it nice and safe. Okay, and this is the dust collector. You can hook up a hose to it or stick a bag on it, and then it can catch a lot of your dust. Now I also have a miter saw stand, and I find this helpful because it has kind of extra arms to support my material, but you can also place the miter saw on a table or on the floor. It's just always safer when you have it on an elevated surface. Okay, this is important, so listen up. We're gonna talk about how to be safe when using a miter saw. I feel like I'm a parent right now, but I am a parent, so this is easy. So here are the things that you need. You're gonna need safety glasses to protect your eyes. You're gonna also look awesome. Another thing that I always do when using any tool is put your hair back. You're gonna not want loose clothing, you're gonna wanna wear closed-toed shoes, and then as you're cutting, also put on a mask to protect your lungs. Okay, now also with your hands, protect them, okay? There are literal, actual signs on here that have like hands with X's. Don't put your hand in that area. Don't put your hand anywhere near the blade. Keep them on the outside, and don't ever cross your arms as you're cutting, okay? So now for some general safety when you're operating this. The first thing is get your blade up to a full speed before you go into your material. Then when you finish your cut, you're also gonna let the blade come to a complete stop before you lift it out. Also, when you're cutting, make sure you put it into the material and then slide it away from you, not towards you. So there are different types of saw blades, but pretty much the main thing you need to know is you need to get it the right size. And then, according to the material that you're using, you can use different blades. But the rule of thumb that I like is the more teeth there are, and by teeth I mean all these little parts, the finer the cut. And finer cut just means the less material that it's taking off. Okay, so now you're ready to make your cut, and you're excited because you've got a fun project, you've got your board all lined up. Something that I like to think about is how to catch my cut. And what that means is when you're cutting a board, the part that's on the end, you don't want it to flop down, and a way to solve that is you can put up a sawhorse, you can get a miter saw stand like this, and then that's gonna support that. Pretty much you just wanna know how you're gonna support the end, like a supportive partner. Okay, now we're gonna line up our cut, because we are pros and we are exact. So the way to line up your cut, remember we've got this fence, and you're gonna make sure that your board is pushed all the way up against the fence on both sides. And then you're going to sit and you're going to not push the trigger, but you're gonna lower your blade down and just kind of see exactly where it touches your board. Now, when I mark my cuts and I mark a line, I in my head pay attention to if I want to eat the line or keep the line. And that just means I'm gonna line up my saw blade right on top of the line to eat it up, or I'm going to keep the line, which means I'm gonna line up my saw blade right to the left or right of it to keep it. Okay, so we've got our cut all lined up. You can twist this clamp on to make sure the board is nice and secure. You're gonna keep your hands out of the danger area. You're gonna not cross them. And then you're gonna be ready to make your cut. So to turn this on, there's a safety in here which I have to roll before I push. Okay, ready? Take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. It helps, it really does. And 3, 2, 1, push it back. Blade is stopped. Look at that. See, that wasn't too scary. We did it. Okay, so we graduated, and now we're gonna make a slide cut on a wider board. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing though. We're gonna start the blade, get it all the way up to full speed. I have this all the way pulled towards me so that I can push it down, push it away from me, let the blade stop, and then lift it up. Okay, ready? Again, take a deep breath. Open your eyes. Watch your hands and out. Look at you go. And that's how you use a miter saw. You got it. I'm so proud of you. And for more tutorials like this and projects, I've got a bunch of them. I'm gonna link some down below in the description, so check them out.